So guys, Nigerians are asking the Minister for Education that if they say they want to crack down on those holding forged certificate, they should start with the person of Tinubu. Let me allow you listen to what the Minister has got to say.
Well, the starting point is that the committee is going to review the operations of the various ministries and agencies responsible for recognition and accreditation of degrees from outside the country. And we are already working on being vigilant on the internal mechanism for those who try to sneak into the country. But for those who go offshore, for those ones who want to strengthen the system such that nobody can bypass or come in whatsoever with such qualifications and get some any recognition whatsoever, whether it is such recognition of such degrees. And so basically, and then of course, when the work of the committee is done, it's going to be published, and then those who are found culpable in any way, will certainly be brought to book, and that's why we are having security agencies on the committee to play that role. And we will make it public in the same way that the suspension of those degrees from those countries were publicly done. Nothing is going to be kept under cover at all, because it is our job to protect our employers who, by chance, may end up employing people who don't have qualifications and the skills which they claim to offer through the certificates.
And they gave him a degree to go after people with fake certificates. There's
the integrity of our educational system, both locally and globally. Nigeria has a very respected qualification system. We have a duty to protect that.
All right, Prof. I'm going to ask that question maybe for you.
Hello, everyone. So the so-called Minister of Education of this illegitimate government says that they are going to go after people with fake certificates. There is someone who did a report, an investigative journalist who actually sort of like got a degree, a university degree, is it within 3 weeks, how many weeks, or 6 weeks, something like that, without leaving Nigeria, from Benin Republic. He paid some amount of money. After 3 or 6 weeks, they gave him a degree, a certificate. He actually used it to go to NYC and actually got into NYC. Can you beat that? As seen degree that people suffer for 4 plus years in Nigeria, somebody just paid and got it. So that sort of like brought up a lot of outcry and everything. So the Ministry of Education has banned a lot of schools. I mean, we hear this all the time. Almost every Monday market day, this thing happens. Over the years, over the decades, we've constantly see this, and they will say, oh, these fake thing results, this one. At the end of the day, again, they lapse and this thing continue. So, and then now he now said that security agents will go after Nigerians with fake certificates from foreign countries, already using them to secure opportunities in the country. That's the Education Minister Tahir Mamman of this legitimate government. That's what they've said. And I'm like, yes, I absolutely and fully support. He needs to start with Tinubu. That's the number one certificate forger out there. So yes, needs to be done. He needs to let them start with Tinubu from there, because you can't have someone who has forged certificate, and rig this way into office, sitting down there. It will give enabling environment for every other person to be forging and doing all sorts of things, because that's what criminality attracts and entails. It gives enabling environment for people to continue to do that kind of a thing. So yeah, way to go. So let's start with Tinubu. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And then you can go wherever it is. Let's carry everybody wherever it is that has fake certificate. They should absolutely be prosecuted. Please don't tell me about what you call that in immunity or no immunity or whatever or however. A crime should really be a crime.
With one of the biggest stories right now in Nigeria, in fact, this particular conversation has crossed borders. It's also trending in the Republic of Benin and Togo, and it concerns the education sector. A reporter did an investigative piece where he said that he was able to purchase a certificate from a university in Cotonou. But then that same certificate was used for youth service here in Nigeria, and then, of course, proceeded to get a job or something of sort. But in case you've been wondering where exactly did this emanate from, we have joining us right here on the Morning Brief that reporter who carried out the investigation, which has now led to the federal government suspending the verification and accreditation of certificates from universities in the republics of Benin and Togo. We have joining us on the Morning Brief this morning Umar Audu. He is a reporter, Daily Nigerian newspaper. Umar, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the Morning Brief.
Good morning, Kaida and the crew, and thank you for having me.
I mean, your work, you've seen the response, the reactions to the work you have done. What a way to start the new year. For some people, this has been a long time coming. For some others, they say, well, this might be a blanket decision that the federal government is making. But before we even get into the reactions to that, speak to us about that investigation you did. There are those who say, did you really have a direct conversation with the school, with the proxy? Is it really a certificate from the school? But just tell us, how was this investigative piece conducted? What inspired it essentially? Then we'll talk about the findings and the aftermath.
All right. Good morning, Nigerians, and thank you once again for having me. So I started this investigation in December 2022, and it was premised on the fact that we've got some Nigerian students lamenting that they got some of their former classmates or colleagues in school who were either dropped out or expelled for one reason or the other. And after a short while, you see these guys wearing NYSC uniforms, serving the nation. And it became surprising to them, and most of them, that they feel cheated, that why will government allow this? Is this a bad that people can just go out of the country and purchase these degrees and come back and serve their fatherland? So that raised our curiosity. We've done a similar investigation in the past, which led to the government taking, I think in 2018, which led to the government taking some certain decision. But as if that was not enough, and these things keeps going on despite pronouncement by federal government. People, in fact, it got worse to the fact that you just be sitting in the comfort of your home, and this certificate will be delivered to you just like you ordered for a pizza or something, and you give them your location and it's delivered to you. So it was that bad. So that was what motivated me to conduct this investigation.
So essentially, all of this that you got, the certificate, of course, that image is now all over. That certificate you saving, oh dear, just to think about that alone, it's just mind-boggling. So you're saying you did all of that from here in Nigeria. You didn't have to cross the border, just to be clear.
Yeah, I never traveled out of Nigeria during this investigation.
Okay, so you never crossed the border, talk more of even attending classes, and you got that. But the school, I imagine you've seen the reaction from the school saying that, hey, we don't have a record of you, the reporter that did the story. That certificate did not emanate from us. Our certificate carries certain things, and well, it doesn't look like this is ours, even though they say investigation is being conducted as well. So how do you react to that? Because the school is saying, no, we are never part of this. This is not from us.
Someone sent me the statement and I just laughed, and I think they were only trying to be clever by half. And that statement itself is self-indicting, because I mean, who sent my name to the Federal Ministry of Education? Because it was the school that sent my name to the Federal Ministry of Education, and from there, the ministry sent my name to the NYC saying that I've fulfilled the requirement set by the standard set by the ministry to participate in the NYC. So who are those people? They know them. So and I think that guy, the person who issued the statement, is only trying to I don't know, but I just look at the statement and I laughed. They have my records, and I sent them an email after I finished everything, but they never responded. And even this response you're talking about, they never sent it to us. So I'll just assume they're just trying to play games.
So let me come in here. From your investigation, how prevalent is this particular, crime? Because that's the name, that's the right name to call it. It's a criminal offense. How prevalent is it from your investigation?
It is very, very prevalent, because when I went for the physical verification at the NYC camp, in Abuja, so you see a lot of people, because this verification is done for foreign students alone. So, and when we got there, people from less turbulent countries, we are easily screened because they have everything that is needed. But those of us from Cotonou and Togo, it was a tedious process, and you see over 50 of us lacking one thing or the other. You see that your entry and exit stamp is not up to date, or residence permit. So there were a lot of issues, and those of us who were victims were many. We are more than 50. That was for that batch alone. So in previous batches, it was still the same. It was still the same issues for people who study from Benin. And what that tells you is that anybody you've seen having this kind of issues is definitely, they don't pass through the process as it's supposed.
All right, just to follow up on that question, I did speak with a former NUC executive yesterday, and he talked about his degree meal. So let me get a few facts right. I checked out the school. I have about 50 staff, 3,000 students, and 5 courses. And when they refer to degree meals, sometimes they're not necessarily talking about schools that are not recognized by government. So the certificate you got from that university, did they offer that particular course?
I never offered the course. I was not even issued admission letter. I don't know where the school is located. All I did was to get this agent, and he requested for certain amount of money, which I paid. And on the receipt, it was issued that I was admitted into 300 level. So, and I paid 380,000 as tuition fee and other expenses for the evaluation letter, even though subsequently there were demand for some more money, so which I paid. So I never attended the school. I never attended any class, either online, virtual, or physical.
So, Omar, you're not aware whether they offer you? I think the degree certificate, mass communication, right?
Yes, please.
So you're not sure whether they offer mass communication as a course in the university or not? You're not sure?
On their website, it's indicated that they offered mass communication. And also from the letter sent to the NYC from the Ministry of Education, said they offered, they are allowed to offer mass communication. So the school is accredited. The course is also accredited by the Federal Ministry of Education.
Because the question I'm asking is quite critical, because sometimes they say some schools are recognized, however, there are certain courses that are not accredited by the university. That's why.
Yes, I watched that interview that you had yesterday, Jeffrey, with the former VC, or what's the position now with the NUC. And he said some are approved and some are not accredited. But you keep referring to the Federal Ministry of Education, Mr. Umar. Is that Federal Ministry of Education the one in Benin Republic or the one in Nigeria? I ask this because you talked about the delay in getting your letter of evaluation, which speaks to this question. Are they taking advantage of a loophole within our own system, or there are officials in our own institutions, be it the Federal Ministry of Education or the NYSC, that are working in cahoots with these agents?
Yeah, so I literally didn't have any business with Federal Ministry of Education in Benin. So it's our Federal Ministry of Education here in Nigeria, because I mean, they are the one responsible to evaluate and certify these universities outside Nigeria. So, and I think these guys, these rackets, have some people who they are conniving with in the Federal Ministry of Education here in Nigeria to enable these things to be going on. Because if they are not working in cohort, as you mentioned, there is no way this could be possible.
Another thing that our guest on that program said yesterday is that if you check these universities, you find that a lot of their own students are not in those universities, that more of Nigerian students are found there. In the course of your investigation, is this also one of your areas of concern? Did you ask questions to this effect?
Yes, I got to gather that most of their own citizens don't attend this university. But here in Nigeria, they rush there because it's a business for them, so and they don't care. But their own student knows that these schools lack the standard to offer them the kind of education they need, so they don't go there. It's only here people from here in Nigeria who need express degrees that rush there within a month or two. They are back, and before you know, they get enrolled for the NYSC.
And on the strength of your earlier response, do you think that the Federal Ministry of Education should be part of this investigation that has been brokered by the federal government, if they're working suspiciously now in cahoots with these agents that get these certificates?
Yes, please, they should. They are the major people that this report indicted, except for the immigration also and maybe NYC. But the most of the blames, to be honest, goes to the Ministry of Education, and I'm happy that this minister have taken this bold step. I just wish it won't end in a president.
Perhaps you don't get the question.
Sorry.
If there's complicity in the Federal Ministry of Education, should they be, a judge in this court, that should also be looking at their own activities?
No, from the statement I saw yesterday, I think they work in collaboration with the DSS and other security agencies. So definitely they will involve the security agencies. And in fact, yesterday, one of them invited me, one of the security agencies in the country invited me for a meeting which they require some information. So I think since the DSS is involved, definitely they won't be the judge on their own case.
Well, we'll be expanding the conversation in a moment because there are always two sides to a story. We have joining us very soon, the president of the Student Representative Council of ESGT, the school in question, because for a lot of them, first, they were shocked at the outcome of your investigative report. Then even double shocked at the response by the government or the reaction, the banning or suspension of accreditation of their certificate. So it's a mixed bag for them. The school, as we said, has put out a response, but it's important to also speak to the students, speak to the body, and find out their own process. How rigorous is the academic system? How did they gain admission? Can they relate with what you experienced? Was that their experience as well? So we'll be expanding that in just a moment. We'll have the president of the SRC join us. But I just want to ask you, seeing how the government has responded now. The NANS, that's the national body of Nigerian students, says, well, this might just be a blanket decision, unfair, particularly for those who have done the work, who have gone through the right procedure, and now they're essentially being casualty, collateral damage. I think that's a term I was looking for. So do you subscribe to that, particularly for those who are legitimately studying, those who legitimately got admission, those who attend classes and even came out with good results as a result of their hard work? Do you think it's fair on them as well?
It's not. Excuse me. It's not fair on those who legitimately pass through the process and pass their degrees, because I know of people who went there, spent 2-3 years to kind of study, and I don't think so this investigation, right, will unravel those who legitimately pass through the process as is supposed, and also indict those who just use nefarious ways to get their degree. So I don't think, honestly, I will, but since, what's it called? There will be investigation from the security agencies. So let them please just allow those who pass through the process legitimately to have their way, so that it won't be a blanket, it won't be a collateral damage for them. Because I personally know people who graduated legitimately and those who just use the illegal means.
I know you've had to sort of find protection for yourself, for lack of a better term, because of how sensitive this issue is. Have you received threats? How has the response, particularly to your person, been ever since the outcome of your investigative piece? Because yes, the news is important, but the reporter is equally important.
Yes. And that's a concern a lot of friends and family members have raised. They've been seriously concerned about my safety, and I feel as a journalist, I should be allowed to do my job without threat or intimidation. So, and this speaks to the kind of society we lived in, when journalists can carry out their job peacefully and be assured of their safety. So I want to use this medium also to call on the authorities to make sure that, please, I'm protected, although I'm in a safe place, but then I don't know what will happen next, because I've been granting interviews, my report has gone viral, and so far no threat, but I just hope, please, the government should be alert, and once there's any threat, I will quickly reach out to them so that I get all the protection I need, but so far no threat.
Can guarantee your safety, Mr. Audu. Would you be willing to provide leads, to aid their own investigation and to ensure that those culpable are brought to book? I ask this because you said earlier that some of the sources that that provided inspiration for your investigative story, complained about how some are dropping out and getting certificates, if I got you correctly, while they have had to do the work in that kind of situation.
Of course, like I mentioned also earlier, one of them called me yesterday. I honored their invitation. So there's no big deal. So that's the essence of this investigation, to sanitize the system. So if I will go all the way to do this investigation, then what will be the point if I'm not ready to assist the authorities in doing their job? So I'm always available.
How rigorous, just before we go to our next guest now, how rigorous was that screening process for students from outside the country when you got to the NYSC camp? What are the weak links that on counterfeit students, so to speak, like, which you did undercover, will exploit when they get to the NYSC camp?
Before I go to the NYSC camp, so once you get your evaluation letter and everything ready, So NYC will subject you to online and physical verification. So that online, you are requested to submit all your documents. Then for the physical, you come with those documents and they will verify them, physical verification. So, but in that process, my stamp, my international passport, I had only one stamp on it, one entry and exit stamp, and which was even post-graduation. So, and they said, no, this is not possible. How is it possible that you travel out of country for a 4-year course and your stamps are not up to date? So they sent me back, and that was in June. So the process was rigorous. I missed that batch. That's batch B, stream 1. I missed it. I went back again. They couldn't clear me. Understand? So.
Omar, if you can hear me, I have more questions for you, but we understand that Prince Ufukimo Idio, the President Student Representative Council of the university in question, the ESG University, Benin Republic, has joined us. Mr. Idio, thank you for coming on the program. I just want to confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I'm sure you've been listening in and you heard what Mr. Umar Aldo had said about getting this certificate from your university in 6 weeks. And that story has gone viral across Nigeria. The federal government has acted and suspended evaluation and all of that from Togo and the Benin Republic. I just wanted to get your quick reaction to what you heard and what's the position of the school. Mr. Idio, did you get my question?
Are you with me?
Yeah, Mr.
Hello?
All right, Mr. Idio, if you can hear me, I want to be sure, did you get the question I asked?
Okay.
All right, let me come back to you, Mr. Aldo. One of the things I wanted to find out, I'm sure that in doing a report, you would have kept the record. They say the best way to follow a story is to follow the character. So let's do some money tracking. You say you spent some money. By your computation, from getting the certificate to the people you had to deal with at maybe the ministry and even at the border at the NYSC, I want to find out, I want to follow the money, how much was involved in all of this, because that's a critical part of the story. But before you respond to my question, Mr. Idio, I understand that your connection is better now. Did you hear the question I asked before I switched? All right, let me come back to you, Mr. Aldo, if you can respond to my question on following the money.
Okay, I spent roughly 600,000.
Okay, so walk us through how you spend this money. How much did you spend to get the certificate? When I read your story, I saw that you, when the issue of whether or not you had to cross the border to go to the school, you needed to spend some money. So walk us through all of the elements of that money. Let's track the money.
Okay, so I didn't go to the border.
Okay.
I only gave money to an immigration official to help me get, what's it called, ECOWAS passport and a backdated stamp for Nigerian immigration and Benin.
How much did you spend in doing that?
I spent about 150,000.
150,000?
Yes.
So I wanted to put it on record now with the 150,000 for those who carry out all of this. Now, let me find out from you. Bukola has asked the question, but let me go a little deeper. In terms of when you went to the NYSC camp and you had to go through all of this screening, one of the things you mentioned in your report is the fact that when you were trying to mobilize and all of that, your phone number and your email, they flagged, but when you were able to resolve that, how were you able to bypass maybe the thumbprint and all of that?
So that was one of the amazing things about this thing. So the phone number I used for my legitimate NYC in 2018 were flagged. So, but I switched to my alternative phone numbers and phone number and email address. So, but for the biometric fingerprint, there was no issue at all. As soon as I put in my fingerprint, it just captured it, and I moved to the next stage of the registration.
So, in your first, when you did your first, there were fingerprints, right?
Of course, there was fingerprint, and throughout the service year, we had monthly biometric clearance. So, what happened to that database? That was surprising.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Umar Odu, reporter with Daily Nigerian newspaper, for taking the risk because we know what it involves. It's expensive, it's dangerous and all of that. And it takes a lot of time to be able to come up with reports like this. But you've done a noble thing to make the federal government, act on this, and everybody's now aware of what's going on. And we hope that the investigation will eventually reveal in detail what you found out as far as all of these degree mills are concerned outside the country. Well, we'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we will switch gears. We did talk about it at the opener, about the fact that, look, if you're looking at 2024 to get the dream job, we got you covered. That's a good reason to stay on the morning brief. Join us again.
So guys, you can see that even the people of Benin Republic want this reporter to be arrested because of this investigative journalism that he has carried out. He has gone out to expose this, and as it stands now, they want him to be arrested. Let's see how all this play out. Let me allow you just watch this clip.
Yeah, it is a crime. It is a crime, sir.
Has anyone ever been caught for such crime?
We've not had experience about that. So we've not seen anything about that. So this one is just something that actually went viral on the social media. So it has drawn the attentions of virtually both the government and everyone. So that's why the government take the necessary decision they took. Right, but I really want to say something. There's a point I really want to clear out on air, because I want to have a conversation with this guy who is called the reporter. All right, because this step he has taken, all right, because he's trying to doubt the credibility of the government. For example, now he went to he after finish, he got his passport was stamped. All right, so his passport was stamped and he was not available. He was not present there. So you are trying to doubt the credibility of the immigration. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, because your passport was stamped while you are not available there. Now, and that aside, this guy served 2019, and he still served again 2023. So you are still trying to doubt the credibility of the youth, that is NYC, because if someone has served before, he can't serve again, because their database will fish out your details and say, okay, this guy has once served again. And if you have served before and you are still serving again, you have to be punished. He has to be arrested. No, I'm just trying to draft a point out.
Okay.
So he has to be arrested. This guy needs to be arrested, because I know he's a reporter who is trying to clear out some things, but on that note, you are trying to implicate some persons. No, because it seems like you are trying to implicate the government, the NYC and the immigration, like I said. So you trying to go serve the second time, that means you need, like, the NYC are not capable, their database is not really working for you to go and serve the second time.
And you don't think that this effort that has been made, it's in the interest of even you yourself to ensure that those things don't continue, because you're spending, this is your 4th year, you said, in the school, and he was able to get what you are going to get in 4 years within 2 months. Don't you think that this, in one way or the other, exposes and blocks the way from those who would want to perpetrate this scam continually, so that we can block it? And if he served in 2019 and he's serving in 2023 without holding brief for anyone, I mean, don't you think this is another way of saying we have some loopholes in our systems that we need to block?
All right, I'm not doubting that, but then since this is out already, all right, so we are taking, I urge the government to look into it and take the necessary step.
So guys, this exposition is really going to help Nigeria, in case we are really interested in a kind of cracking down on corruption, especially in the aspect of forgery. But now that we have a leader who also has, these forgery allegations around him, do you think he will really come out to, ensure this is brought to a stop? That is just the question Nigerians are asking. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Thank you.